Hello everyone, I am Rohit Vats and we have Rakshit Shetty with us and his new film 777 Charlie is going to release pan-India. So I just wanted to ask you, you were explaining the idea of going pan-India. So how does that work for you?
I personally don't believe that every film has to go pan-India. I mean, my last film, Narayana, actually we did try to go pan-India. And even this film also we are going pan-India. It doesn't mean that every film should go. In fact, my next film, Saptasagarada Chelo, that we are not going pan-India at all. As of now, we don't have any plans like that. But when there is a film and you believe that this particular film has a market across the country for some reason, at that point probably, it is probably a crime if you are not exploring that market. Previously, all the films which have released pan-India are more on the commercial front.
Right.
Whereas this film is completely opposite. It is not in those front at all. But since this is a dogs film, and we have not seen any dog film in recent past. Like I think 15-20 years. It's been 15 more.
The only dog film I remember in Hindi was Teri Mehrwani a long time.
That is a long time back. Yeah.
Right. And so, that Akshay Kumar film, it's entertainment.
But that is not about the dog.
Of course.
So this film is exactly about is particularly about a dog and a human bonding, and how a complete introvert character who is on his own, who doesn't even talk to his neighbors, and who is a complete loner, doesn't have any family, and that kind of, and he doesn't respond to any emotions. He's pale when it comes to his heart, and when a dog comes to his life, what are the things changes inside him, and that is a beautiful graph, and I believe a lot of people can connect to it. Right? I mean, see, if the dog lovers watch the film, I'm sure they'll connect to the dog, and they will love the film anyways.
Also, it's not just about being an animal lover, it is also about exploring your own identity.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If you are a dog lover, you love the film because of the dog anyways. If you are not one, by the end of the film, you would have connected to my character, Dharma, in such a level that by the end of the film, you would want to have a dog at home.
Right.
So I believe, expanding the market for this film throughout the country will help a lot in terms of people will start adopting the dogs, and especially I think indie dogs are supposed to be adopted.
Nice.
And there's a proper reason when you watch the film. By the end of the climax, you'll know what is the message, what the film is trying to give.
You talked about one in Narayana, but we will come back to that later because that's one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
And so when we are talking about this animal-human bonding, while shooting the film, what kind of changes you went through as a human being?
To be frank, I am myself I'm an introvert. So
that's difficult for an actor.
But thank God, I'm not just an actor. I'm a writer. I'm a director also. So I always tell that you can't compare me with all other actors because I, to be frank, don't like going and promoting myself too much. As long as
how does this the whole process of promoting a film that to pan India feel then?
For me, it's a very new experience. In the sense, I have done that in Karnataka because I've been in the industry for the last 10 years. So it's not new. But in Karnataka, I had reached a state where I had created a market for myself that I don't even have to go to these shows and stuff. Interviews, I don't mind because I'm still talking about films,
right.
So I enjoy it.
Right.
But going to these shows and dancing
and
there,
then promoting your products, just
so,
because you have to do.
Correct. And sometimes I have to be not myself because, for example, I can dance in the film because that's my job. But if you ask me to go to a show and dance, then I can't do that because in the film I'm in a character. In the character I can do as a character, as long as the character can do it, I can do it. As long as I can, I know that the character will do it. But as soon as I go to a stage, it's me. It's not it's not any character which is going to the stage. And if you ask me to dance there, then it's like I'm not ready.
I don't know what to do.
So, but at least in Karnataka, the last 10 years, I've come to a stage where I can say no, I don't want to come to the show. Any interviews you call me, I'll come and give the interview. But now again, this is the new process which is starting once
It
again.
happens. But the good thing about your films have been so far, and also with 777 Charlie, that all films are very different from each other. Like if you are talking about a love story in one, then there is a film like mad film like Kirik Party. Then there is a film about Naxal movement. So all films are very different to each other in terms of its fabric.
Correct.
So how do you come to a subject? Like this is what we are going to make next time.
So at least until Kirik Party, it was a flow. In the sense, see, my first film was called Simple Agar Loshori, which actually gave me a break in Kannada film industry. And then I wrote and directed a film called Ulidavar Kannante.
Yeah, right.
So that is, it didn't do great in the box office then, but
Very appreciated film.
So it's considered as a cult classic now. So
It is a cult classic. What is this? It is a cult classic.
So,
I like that film also.
so I received a lot of awards and stuff there. And then there is a time when since that didn't work in box office, so I was confused that what kind of film works in box office then. So I started doing films with other directors and in other production houses, which didn't work for me as well. So then I was like, okay, so the films which I like, if I do it, it might not work, it might work. The films which I don't like, if I do it, it might work, it might not work. At least let me do something which I like. If it works in the box office, it's only an advantage. So that is when working with other producers and all, there are times when I had to compromise on our creativity. So we decided that we'll do our own production. We'll write something on our own and make sure that this film wins. So the best subject what we had, I was from engineering background, and I had a lot of experiences which none of the films had showcased until then. So we thought we'll do a film on engineering background, but it will be our style of filmmaking. That's when we wrote Kirik Party. So I always say that Ulidavar Kannante was my innocence, because it was my first film. I didn't think much before writing it and directing it or making it. But Kirik Party was my need, because at that point I needed big
breakthrough.
So after Kirik Party, I came to a position where, as a filmmaker, what do I do next? Like I need to learn something, and I do something which I have not done before. So that's when we started writing ASN. So until then I didn't know anything about the structure, how to write a story. Both Kirik Party and Ulidavar Kannante came from within. Although I didn't know the structure, the story just formed. Obviously, all of us are a storyteller inside us.
Right.
And even if you don't know the structure, at one point, somehow the structure is
idea
formed.
starts getting concreted in your head somewhere.
Correct. But in ASN, we actually I read at least 10 to 15 books about storytelling, to understand the structure. And once I understood the structure, we wrote ASN to the structure. Not just to tell a story, but have a structure and then fill in scenes inside.
Because I think that was also a point where you started evolving as a filmmaker.
As a filmmaker, as a writer also.
Right.
So when I watch ASN, I see mistakes also. It's not that I do, there are no flaws. But I have learned from those flaws also. And unless you do a mistake, there is no point, there is no way you will learn, because once you do a mistake only, you will learn, this mistake I won't do next
time. So coming back to 777 Charlie then, and so how, as a filmmaker, as an actor, as a writer, and as a person who is creatively involved with a project, so how do you see, how do you reach from point A to point Z? What happened there? What was the process?
So I told you, right? So I'm an introvert myself, and playing the character Dharma, the Dharma goes through one emotional journey. So whenever we are acting, when we go through that emotion, the only difference is if that same pain comes in real life, we are suffering. But as an actor, when we are going through the pain, we are not suffering, because we are doing it from a distance. Because ultimately we know I'm not the character. I'm just going through the emotion. That's all. So I think that is something which helped me to understand by the end of the film. From the point A, being an introvert character like Dharma, by the time the film ended, I had gone through the same journey what Dharma had gone through.
And also finding a way to express yourself.
Correct. So that's how I express myself.
Nice. So on that part, we have used most of your time for this interview. And so all the best for your film. And if you want to say anything to the audience for your film, so yes.
I mean, only thing I would like to say is this is a film which probably you shouldn't miss in theaters, because I can promise you that, you know, it will make you smile, it will make you laugh, and by the end of the film, it will make you cry also, but you'll come out with a smiling face.
So on that note, thank you, Rakshit, for your time.
Thank you.
And all the best for your film.
Pleasure being here.